All right, what is going on, everyone? You guys have seemingly been enjoying the live stream, so I thought I would continue that and do another live stream. We're here, we're chilling, and we have some massive news to go through. So strap in, guys. We got all of this information I'm going to dump onto you, and hopefully we learn something and we can make some money from this current event that we're about to discuss. With that said, guys, if you do appreciate it, and you've not seen me go live before, or you have seen me go live before and you do like it, smash that like button and leave a comment, because that's going to help this live stream go out to more people. The more people that see it, the more times I'll do it. And once we've done the news, we're going to sit here, we're going to chill, we're going to drink some sparkling water, or whatever it is that you guys are drinking. Let me know in the comment section. And then we can go through different cryptos, we can look at XRP, we can talk about the trades, all of that good stuff. But make sure you do me a favor and like this video. Let's jump straight into it. So first of all, before we go through the news, have you ever wondered how much it takes to cause a $16.6 billion increase in the XRP market cap? Because that's actually what we saw just yesterday. We went all the way up to $2.65. It's interesting because this guy right here, Dom, reckons the buy pressure that came in was actually only $61 million. $61 million. Isn't that absolutely crazy over the course of 13 hours? So using this information, we're going to then look at what's happening today. And we're going to figure out whether or not we think this could be absolutely bullish. Bullish, bullish, bullish. And we could go very, very high very quickly. Considering if this is true, 61 million, it's not that much money. I mean, I would love 61 million, don't get me wrong, but it's not that much money when you really put it into the grand scheme of things. So right now we have Bitcoin moving $103,500 as we speak, meeting the resistance that we spoke about in yesterday's video once again, just about trying it, not able to break it just yet. And what's interesting is we've spent only 3 days, right? Quite funny, right? Because everyone talks about the all-time high being, what, $108,000? We see it right there, $109,000, my bad. But we actually only spent, look at this, 1, 2, we closed that day, 1, 2, 3. 3 days, guys. Isn't that absolutely wild? Now, we're not managing to break it yet, but the news has just come out. It's very interesting and might actually send the market flying. So if you don't know already, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are rising right now because CPI hits a 4-year low. A 4-year low, guys. We can see here, the CPI report showed inflation pressures eased on an annual basis in the first month that many President Trump's tariffs were in effect. The latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed that consumer prices increased 2.3% over the prior year in April, a slowdown from March's 2.4%, which was also the economists' forecast, right, of 2.4. So we're under it. In fact, it's the lowest annual increase since February 2021. Isn't that absolutely great news? Because if we go over and we ask Grocky Pants over here. Oh, it's gone. Oh, no, it's back. Here we go. Grok. How does inflation impact interest rates? The Federal Reserve uses interest rates to manage inflation and economic growth. When inflation is high, the Fed often rises its rates to cool demand and bring prices down. Conversely, when inflation is low or below the Fed's target, typically around 2%, the Fed may lower rates to stimulate the economic activity by making borrowing cheaper. The Fed's target interest rate range, as noted in the web results, was 4.25 to 4.5 as of March 2025, with the Fed projecting 2 potential rate cuts for 2025. So by the sounds of things, it could actually be that with lower CPI than expected, rate cuts could come sooner than expected. And this is why I think the NASDAQ is absolutely flying today. And as we know, the NASDAQ is closely tied to the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is closely tied to the price of altcoins. And altcoins, of course, are closely tied to the price of XRP. XRP right now, $2.53. Our trade that we have done live here on these channels right now, $11,800 of the profit, of the lovely little profits. And we got involved when everyone was scared. We dollar cost averaged in, and now we have 30,000 XRP on 3x leverage, printing money as we speak. Now, will the market turn? We don't know yet, but now could be a great time if you've done a similar trade to me to book some profits or put in some stop losses so you can make sure you bank a little bit of money in case the market flips. And remember, guys, this is short-term swing trading with low leverage. So our longer-term spot bags are sitting, they're chilled. We don't need to be like, oh, I need to take some profits from XRP to pay for my, like, whatever it is that I want to buy, my Lambo, right? What we can do is we can take profits from our XRP leverage position, and it doesn't really matter because we can keep our spot position there. With that said, guys, we have 107 people watching right now and only 19 likes. Can you please, if you are enjoying the stream and you do want me to stream more, can you like this right now? Smash the like button because this will get the stream out to more people as we're live, and that will really help with me not feeling like I'm sitting in a room by myself talking to my camera. So if you can do me a favor, smash up the like button. And as you can see, the XRP trade doing nicely. We slowly got involved in this. We were dollar cost averaging. We waited for pullbacks. We averaged in, and this is how I like to trade. And I'm glad to see the fruits of our labor paying off. Now, earlier today, we also started an ETH position on my other channel, the main channel, and we're now in $100 of profit. Now, the key to this, right, I started very small, one Ethereum. We used $800, but my plan was if Ethereum continued to drop, I was actually going to dollar cost average into it. I was going to slowly dollar cost average in if we were buying the top, because that's the thing. Everyone wants to buy, right, after we've had these big rallies, like big push to the upside. Everyone wants to buy. Same as when XRP does it, right? But the key is sometimes actually buying those rallies works. You can see here, look at this. So you see here, we had this big rally to the upside. Ethereum went up, what, 44%. And then some people probably would have bought here, and then they would have panic sold here. But the key, instead of buying there, like most people like to do, and then panic selling, what we do is if we do think we're going to continue to go up, it fits in with our narrative, our thesis, we can get involved here, but then we can also average in here. And then if it goes lower, we can average in. If it goes lower, we can average in. And that will average our price down. Whereas this started to bounce, we would have got 2 buys, and then we get an average price of maybe here, and we get that upside, 28%. So that's how I like to trade. And that was, and maybe still is, the hope for this Ethereum trade. So if we head down, we get rejected, say at 2,600, I'll just average into it. And if we start small, we have more capital to play with. If we start really big there, we don't have that to play with. And that's how I actually like to trade, all right? So with that said, if you do want a place to trade, as you know, or maybe you don't know, Blowfin has partnered here on the channel, and I've asked them specifically to give you guys XRP rewards, because everyone else gives out USDT rewards. We want XRP rewards. So if you want these rewards, the links are in the description. You can copy the same copy trader as me if that's something you want to do. Remember, I'm using my own money to copy this algorithm is what it is. And I can't guarantee this will be profit. So if you don't want to mess with it, you don't want anything too risky, don't mess with this. But if you do want to check out copy trading, I've been running a test. We're a little over 2 months now, and we've made some nice trades, you know, like the last trade right now, this is in $200 of profit, but the last trade actually closed in $7,000 of profit. So, and you can see if we go on the copiers, this is all the copiers, right? Look, 71 days we've been going, we made $7,000. So it's interesting, right? I think it's an opportunity to at least research or check out. And of course, get the XRP bonuses. And remember, guys, no KYC, no VPN, no personal details to trade on Blowfin. That's why I like to trade on there, because I can trade from anywhere in the world. No matter where I am, I can just start trading. It's great. Guys, 111 people watching. We got 44 likes. Come on, please do me a favor. I know if you're on your phone, you just hit the like button. If you're on your computer, you just press the like button. Don't make me beg for it. Go on, do me a little favor. Listen, some breaking news around Coinbase, right? And I do think this is bullish for the crypto market, and in turn, very bullish for XRP. Coinbase coin set to join the S&P 500 on May 19th. The first ever crypto company in the index. This is bullish for crypto and XRP. I do definitely agree with that. So you couple that with the fact that we have the NASDAQ running because of good CPI. You also couple that with the fact that XRP is about to hit 6.5 million holders for the first time in 12 years. Since the start of 2025, over 638,000 new empty wallets have joined, an 11% increase. So 11%, sorry, non-empty, 11% increase more in 2025. That's great because people are paying attention. And I think that the reason why XRP does well is because of the community. Now, I got a lot of comments when XRP wasn't doing much, right? When we were here, and everyone was like, the whole market's moving. Sorry, that's Ethereum being silly. when we were here, right? The whole market's moving and XRP is doing nothing. It's boring, yada, yada. And we actually said, and we spoke about this, we said XRP normally moves like separately to the market. So in fact, yesterday we started the tumble of Bitcoin, and guess what we had? A pump of XRP. And that is why, one of the reasons it sits here in this. Because while Bitcoin and Suie were going parabolic, XRP was actually in a loss, if you remember when we were talking about it. But now these two have slowed down, and XRP has actually overtaken Suie in profit. I do have a lot more in this trade. In fact, the Suie trade is wild, right? We got $3,000 into $11,000, which is like $3,000 risk, $11,000 profit. Really nice there. And the XRP trade has a more assets, but it's doing nicely. And this is exactly what I was hoping to happen. So far, so good in these trades. Now, CPI, more community members coming in, plus Crypto Insights UK here saying that people call him insane for his thoughts on XRP, but a rough estimate of what he thinks is coming is this, right? So we had this push to the upside around just over $3. We come down to the lows of what we saw, which was about $1.60, providing an amazing opportunity for the people who basically had the balls, right? And our next wave to the upside, our next move could be $12. In fact, he thinks that there's a potential for what's that? About $20 there. Now, $12 I think is an interesting price point. I actually think $10-ish is my price prediction for this bull market, for this current moment in time. I think we will have another bear market, and I don't think XRP is going to reach that sort of mass adoption that people expect this run. That is why I'll be taking profits. Not all of it, but be taking profits. And the thing I want people to understand is the reason why I've started talking about XRP a lot on this channel is the community is building, the community is strong. I hold a large position in XRP in my spot bag and in my leverage bag. But the key is there's so many people talk about it and they don't take profit. So those people actually don't make any money, right? If they never sell their XRP, and there is a chance, there is a future where XRP doesn't get that mass adoption, and maybe this is the last run. I don't think it is, but maybe it is, and they don't take any profits. They then don't, if they don't have income coming from other businesses, right? They then don't have any money to buy more XRP on the dip, or to live a nice lifestyle, or to be financially free, buy some properties, yada, yada, yada. So that's where I come in, right? I believe that XRP could go significantly higher in 5, 10, 20 years, significantly higher. But also I believe that there will be another bear market, which will give us another opportunity to buy cheaper. So therefore I will be taking profits. And I'll be telling you guys, this is a moment in which I'm taking profits. This is a moment in which I'm closing some of my leverage positions and all of that stuff. So if you want to see a little bit of a different perspective to what is out there on YouTube, subscribe so we can chat, right? Because we're going to have a chat in a second. If you guys start leaving your comments, I will get there eventually. But 70 likes. Let's get this to 100 likes, guys. Do me a favor. We just got 30 more likes, but we have 175 people in the viewers. So come on. Come on. Jump over to the dark side, the like side. So we got CPI. We also have Eric Trump coming out and saying that Bitcoin is better than real estate. And I really like this comment here. When the family that build their empire through real estate says Bitcoin is better, it's worth paying attention. And I always talk about Bitcoin in these XRP videos because, guys, Bitcoin dictates what happens in this market. If Bitcoin went absolutely wildly parabolic right now and went to 140 overnight, believe you me, I believe that XRP would follow. We would go to all-time highs. We would go higher if that happens. So it's important to know what's happening with Bitcoin. And a lot of people will be paying attention to this because of this, right? We also have purchases from corporate entities, 3.3x the amount that's actually been printed, all right? The amount of Bitcoin that has been mined. Isn't that wild? Like 3x, guys. We're going to run out of Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin runs out, it's going to go up in price. Again, my pure speculation. We saw, because of this, so far, MicroStrategy's Bitcoin yield was 15.5%. That's a gain of $7.2 billion from just dollar cost averaging, and something that Michael Saylor believes in. We also have VanEck launching a tokenized treasury fund. $120 billion asset manager just launched the VanEck Treasury Fund V-Bill alongside their existing crypto ETF and VC fund. It's live on Ethereum, Avalanche, Solana, and BNB chain, powered by Securitized and Wormhole. No XRP here, but interesting nonetheless, right? 200 people in the live, And we've only got 80 likes. Come on. Come on over to the dark side. Give me a little like. And I'm going to start answering questions. So start firing in your questions here about XRP, about crypto, and about the market. But with the CPI data, with the new people joining, with Coinbase being listed in the S&P 500, what I think is about to happen is retail, right, are going to go, what's that crypto stuff again? Coinbase is in the S&P 500. I'm actually holding Coinbase, which gives me basically access to the crypto market. I might as well pay attention. What's Bitcoin at? Wait, it's at 100K. I thought it was a scam. I thought it crashed. I thought it was over. And then they'll be like, oh wait, 100K is actually quite good. And then they'll start buying again. This is why we get these big pushes. You know, the previous high right here, you can see we got this initial tip to the upside, and then we came down. We made a support down here, and then guess what? We started to rally. And then right here, when we rebroke, right, the old all-time high, they weren't buying here. They were buying when we rebroke the old all-time high, and we went flying. Exactly the same thing here, right? No one wanted to buy XRP here, but then everyone wanted to buy it here. And then when I was talking about XRP here, in fact, I took profits. But when I kept making videos about it, everyone was calling me an idiot here. Then up here, talking about taking profits. And then everyone has been calling us idiots during this moment. I'm not talking about you guys. Obviously, we've been bullish. But people in the real world, they're like, nah, XRP is a scam, right? And then they won't be saying it's a scam as it starts to move. And this is just what you have to get used to, right? You just have to get used to retail being emotional with how they behave in this market, right? I'm used to it, and this is how we get profitable. We find tools like this. This is the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map. We check, what is the majority of the market doing right now? They're long, right? So that creates the pullback that we saw yesterday. And this pullback was just like 4%. And look how much it destroyed the market. This has actually gone down because it's been refreshing, but $362 million worth of wrecked longs. Now, guess what? $136 million of shorts, because the shorts were piling in. You see this rising, right? I told you guys I'm not trading when this is flat. Now this is starting to rise. This is why I've been adding to my positions, because people are starting to go short, which means I'm trading against those people, right? And that's what I like to do. And I want you guys to come up with your own strategy, right? We use the altcoin season index. We use Bitcoin. We use the NASDAQ to see what Bitcoin is doing. We use the leverage and liquidation points to see what the market's doing. And then we try and trade against them. And then when I say trade against them, it's normally not short. When the market is bullish, I just wait. When the market is bearish, we enter. And that's exactly where all of these positions were entered. The Ethereum position was entered this morning when the market was a little bit bearish. XRP, Suie, and Bitcoin when the market was bearish. So that's the game plan. And if you guys have any questions around that, we've just broken 100 likes, and I want to answer your questions. So fire them in the chat. We got 228 concurrent viewers. And if any of you haven't liked yet, go on, just like it. And if you want me to bring Mo in, he's working out there, but I can call him in. He was on the live yesterday, if any of you guys were here. I could probably bring other people in. I need to figure out like StreamYard and all of that stuff so I can like bring guests, because bringing guests would be ideal. I wouldn't have to yap to myself. I could yap to someone else, which is nice. And it's always weird to make these videos because I'm so used to being able to edit. I can't edit when we're live, right? All right. XRP to 300. Not this run, let's just say that. Double like inbound, Dan dude, I appreciate you. I need those likes. I'm hungry for those likes. The content you provide us and information you consistently give us is amazing. I appreciate you guys. I created this channel, like I said, I really did. It's the same as the reason why I started my main channel as well. I started that back in 21, or I started talking about crypto. I've had that channel for the longest, right? I probably had that channel longer than any of you watching it. I almost guarantee. Go and check. I think I created it in 2006, which is wild, right? But the reason why I created that channel was because I saw that people were talking about what we used to call hype coins back then, kind of transferred into meme coins. But I saw people talking about them, and I saw how they had not been in a crypto cycle before. I had my first cycle in 2017. I lost everything in 2018. And I saw that they were talking about crypto like I was talking about crypto in 2017. Basically, you don't if it's your first cycle, you don't really understand that it all goes away, right? It goes away more than anyone can imagine. This is why I'm so keen on taking profits. Even looking at something as large as Bitcoin, right? So in 2017, it was the first real crazy rally where everyone was talking about it. And like, I got in around this region, right? And that gain, this is insane. It's an insane gain. But I had no idea. I couldn't fathom that something could go down 83%. So you could be down like so much and then it still goes down. Like isn't that crazy? Like you would be here, right? And you would have sustained a 40% drop. And then like, it cannot go lower than this. And then from that point, it goes down another 73%. And then like, so from here, like, oh, surely it can't go down more. And then it goes down another 50%. So it's just these things, you get used to it, right? And so what I saw was people talking about these hype and meme coins without ever having been through that. So I was like, I'm going to jump on here. I'm going to start talking about my experience in crypto. And I'm going to buy some of these coins. We're going to ride it, but I'm going to take profits. And I'm going to show people that taking profits is key. And that's exactly what happened. We took profits and then the market annihilated itself right here. First of all here, and then it annihilated itself again here. And then we had that whole moment. And except this time I was still recovering from my first time. Whereas in this bear market, if you go and look at the main channel's video, actually this channel I think started just after the FTX collapse. I was bullish, guys. I've been bullish on crypto. Once I knew, because here I didn't really have any money, right? I didn't have enough money. I was making $3,000 a month and I was buying as much as I could. But here I'd started to I made a lot of money here and I sold 50%, 60% of my bag in these regions. So I had money and I was like buying. I was like, I need to buy. I've made a video. One of my most viewed shorts is me buying or saying I'm buying Solana at $19. So this is how we benefit, right? But we can't benefit if we don't take any profits. So that was the reason why I made the first channel. The reason why I've started talking about XRP on this channel is because I noticed that most people who talk about XRP here on YouTube never plan to take any profits. And that's fine if you're making a lot of money in your job or you have a business and you believe in XRP like I believed in Bitcoin and you want to hold it for the next 10, 20, 30 years, fine. That's a great strategy if that works for you. But for me, I want to be making money so I can buy other investments as well as XRP, as well as Bitcoin, as well as all of these things. And so we take profits, just like we sold 25% of the bag at $2.75. And I can almost guarantee, right, there will be a point in time again that will be a bad choice. But guess what? I had money to buy this dip, to open this trade, to do whatever I want to do in life. So that's why I do that. And I don't know why I went on that yap spree, but smash the like button if you appreciate the yap. I'm going to answer some more questions. Why is there no liquidation point when I open my trades, referencing when you share your screen? No problem, I can explain. The reason why is because I have quite a large balance in this account, and these are cross-margin positions. I don't have another account I can open up without logging in. But basically, when I do isolated leverage, do I have any positions of isolated leverage? Yes, over on weeks. Let's see. Let me see if I can. I'll log into weeks and I'll show you what happens when you have isolated. Let me see if I can get it on. Hopefully it's still logged in. No, of course not. Why would it be logged in? That would make my life easy. Sorry guys, bear with me. I just want to explain this because it is strange if you've not seen. So basically when you use cross margin, it's unlikely that the trade will be liquidated as long as you have enough position in the trade. However, that liquidation point will start to populate if the price goes down significantly. That's why we have to use... sorry, it's making me do all these captures, so annoying. That's why we have to use stop losses when we use cross-margin positions. Let me get this trade up here. I did actually open up isolated positions at the same time as I opened up those positions, or a similar time. Have they got liquidations? Yes, good. Okay, look. So we have these. We have these. So here is the explanation. So we have isolated margin, 10x on Bitcoin, 4x on Suie. We got $10,000 in profit here on Suie. We got $5,000 here on Bitcoin. And you can see if Bitcoin goes to 71K, this position gets liquidated. If Suie goes to $1.57, this position gets liquidated. So that's basically how it works, guys. And this account balance is much smaller than the other one. So I'm using isolated, and that's basically how it works. If you guys do want to trade as well, we do have the $200 plus of XRP rewards here if you sign up to Blowfin using the links in the description. And Blowfin works really well. It's definitely a platform that I would have in my repertoire if I was trying to find new exchanges to use. And the benefits they have, absolutely great. No KYC, no VPN as well. So trade from anywhere in the world. It's always annoying when you try and log into your exchange and you can't, right? And yeah, it's frustrating. So you can check that out if you want. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. If not, I can go in more detail and explain anything I missed there. Bring Mo in. I will. He's just finishing some work. I'll get him to come in. Mate, you're the best crypto YouTuber. I appreciate that. Thank you. Charmander, my man. What female? Do you have any advice on not being emotional and trading? Yes, definitely. My advice is create a strategy in moments like this. All right, in moments like right now when the market is euphoric, create your strategy for when the market goes down and stick to it. So let's take, for example, up here, right? Everyone creates their strategy down here because they're panicked. They need to figure out what to do. They're like, okay, I'm going to sell here and then I'll buy it when it goes low, and it doesn't, and they miss out on the run. So what we do is in moments of euphoria, like right now, like here, we create strategies. We figure it out. One way, if you want to create a strategy, is joining the literal crypto strategy school. The link is to my Patreon right now down there in the description, but you get access to this. And here you have 4 full-time coaches that will help you create a strategy. You have a chat where you can talk to people about the trades you're considering, what you're thinking about, how you're doing, and you can chat to them. Everyone's here all the time, right? We've got the community gains section. You can ask our coaches questions. The coaches have TA requests, daily analysis, and live streams that happen every day. Different people we have coming on. So if you want, it's paid, right? Obviously it's paid. It's about $60 right now a month. But if you want that, you can come and join that, right? That would, am I? Oh no, here we go. If you want that, that's probably the quickest way to do it. But of course, I didn't do it with that group. You can do it yourselves. It will just take longer, right? You can basically step over you can do things quicker if you pay for it, right? It's like the cheat code, and I would suggest checking out. You can check out for a month and then leave if you don't like it. But the point is you want to be doing it when you have a clear mind. At 104,000, we all have a clear mind, right? If you've been doing what I've been doing, you bought some on the dip, or you bought some years ago, or whatever. Now we're chill, right? The price is nice. So what I do, my strategy is when I'm here, I think, okay, so for example, my Bitcoin, right? I don't want to sell my Bitcoin. I don't want to sell. I have a position size that I want to hold basically forever. I want to take loans on it. That's my plan, right? I want to retire on it, all of that stuff. But I do want to take profits. So I think, okay, if Bitcoin's price goes down, I'm going to feel crappy about not taking any profits. That's why I do the low leverage strategy, right? Because then I have a Bitcoin position that I've closed 0.4 Bitcoin on. So I've closed it. And I closed it too early, guys. I closed it at 99,800. And I think I closed a little bit more just before that. And I could have made loads more money. I could have been on, let's say, $30,000 of profit. But it doesn't matter because this is there for me to control my emotion. All right, that's what people miss, right? I get a lot of comments of people going, this guy's an idiot. He closed it way too early. Yes, I closed it too early. But in closing it, guess what I did? I removed my emotion. So yesterday, when the market did this, right, this 4% collapse and people panicked, people would have closed, I was sitting, I don't care. That's chill, man. I got all this profit that I can then use to buy the dip. Perfect, right? So that's my strategy, one of them. The other strategy is things like Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, Suie, that sort of stuff. When I believe that we're still in a bull market, which I believe we're in right now, I believe we've been in it since about this period in time, right? Bull market, pullback, bull market, pullback. Then I average into my positions. But I normally average out of the positions up here and then average into them. So my strategy is when everyone is scared, I like kind of use myself as the monitor. When I'm panicked, I know, okay, this is the moment where I need to dollar cost average. So if we take a look, right? And guys, I'm not trying to show off. I'm not trying to gloat. This is not the point. This is me trying to explain like the emotion behind it. So there's a few altcoins that we've bought. This is the Crypto Strategy School again. I post what I do in here whenever I do it, right? So the NASDAQ The S&P 500, VWRL, CleanSpark $7, right? CleanSpark is now, I think, $9 or $10. Bitcoin miner. So these are my stocks, right? These are my stocks. And then also my leverage trade that I restarted. There we go, Suie. We got Bitcoin, which I started to buy spot. This was the first buy that I did. People are reacting like, what? I didn't buy spot Bitcoin for a long time. But we had that pullback, so I bought it on spot. And I was I felt the panic. And I was like, okay, when I feel the panic, it means that everyone's feeling the panic. And guess what I want to do? I want to do the opposite of what people are doing. So I bought Bitcoin at 82 and I bought a significant bag of Ethereum at 1,700. Now, Bitcoin continued to drop. Bitcoin at 77, I bought more. It continues to drop. I think that was the next day. Same day. Oh, these are all the same day. This is one day later. Same day. Bitcoin 77, bought more. Bitcoin 74, bought more. And guess what? I would have bought more. I would have continued to buy. Then I opened my positions. Suie, $1.67, so on. And we continue to do that. So the strategy that I've created for myself is buy in panic and wait for euphoria to take some profits, right? And that's kind of it. And then because I have that strategy, when the panic comes, I've one, already taken profits because I always take profits in euphoria. And two, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy if we're still in a bull market, or I'm going to wait if we're going into a bear market, and then I'm going to buy more. Simple, right? And it sounds way more simple than it is. But this is how I've learned to control my emotion, because it's very emotional. And just because I do those things doesn't mean I don't feel the emotion. I very much feel it. When my portfolio goes down, on a day, the S&P 500 going down 20% was absolutely unreal, right? That was wild because people told me it's never going to go down. But you have to just control. And I had people from the stocks and shares world that I've known, really wealthy people that I've known, right, have been in it. And they're messaging me like, this is the first time I've actually been worried. Like, should we be getting out? Is it things going to get really worse? They're talking to me. And I'm like, all I know is the history tells us that buying in this sort of panic pays off. So I put like everything I had access to into the stock market, into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, into a few altcoins in that period just about a month ago. And it's paying off in dividends right now. And all I can say is that's because I went against my gut, which is scared, right? And that's how we build these sorts of things. Sorry, I'm yapping. If you do appreciate the yap, give me some likes so I know I should keep going in depth into these. Because if you don't, if you just want quick fire questions, then also let me know that. If you want, Connor, just shut up. Answer the question. Why did you lose everything by 2018? Is it because of the bear market? Abundance grace. So, I tell you the exact story, but I'll do it quickly, I promise. 2017, I got in. Right, me and my friends, we were cooking. We were like, yeah, brilliant. Let's get into some Bitcoin. We bought $3,300-ish, right? Ish, so it's like around, I don't know, here? Somewhere where we bought, right? And so we rode the wave, and I was on Twitter, and I was buying like random altcoins. And back then, we didn't have, like Dogecoin I think Dogecoin was around, but that was the only meme coin we had, right? So we were buying Cardano, VGX, ICX, I can't even, there was colorful circles, I can't remember. But pretty sure XRP as well. Anyway, we were going all the way up, right? And I was trading. I was doing so well. $3,000 trading into altcoins. Thought I was a genius. 75K, I remember. 75K. I was like, wow, I am set for life now, right? And guess what I did? I transferred all of my portfolio into ICX, which from my research said it's going to be the Korea's Ethereum. It's still around now. They're still building. But it never turned out to be a Korea's Ethereum, and it went down. Let me see if I can get it up. So bearing in mind, I sold everything I had, and I just bought more ICX. Look at this. Oh, that's wrong, isn't it? We got a bit. What's an old? Maybe Binance. HTX. We need like an old exchange that would have been around then. Maybe Bitfinex? Well, that's IOTA. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this because it probably isn't going to go back. Let's try this. Here we go. Perfect. Look at this, guys. So Genius Me is trading this, right? So it's absolutely obscene. It launched on the market and it went up 1,000%. I was over the moon, and it was about $12, guys. Look at this, $12. I've never actually looked at this like this. I think I did it $12. I think I remember it was a price point of $12. So I put all of my portfolio into it there because I thought it was going to do another 10x, just like it had done before. And remember when I was talking earlier, I was yapping about how I didn't know that how decimated things could get. This is how I learned. All of my portfolio at 12, and I rode it all the way down. Look at this, 84%. And at this point, I was like, it can't get worse. Surely it can't get worse. And then guess what? After an 84% move, it went down 94% more. Destroyed my portfolio. Destroyed it. And then we get to 2018, 2019, and I'm just going about my business. This is where I started e-commerce. I started building brands online. I started making a little bit of money. I remember I made my first 3K, and then I was like, I can leave this job because I can finally do my own thing. So I resigned and I went full-time, and then Rona Ronason hit, and then guess what? The biggest opportunity of our life. I started buying Bitcoin at, I think it was $9,000, right? And then I started buying some Cardano. And wasn't that a trade? So what I did was I learned from my mistakes. And this time I wanted to buy and I knew I was going to sell, right? So I bought Bitcoin at 9,000 and then like 3-4 days later, Rona Ronason hit and it went to 3,000 again. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to stick to it. And that was the first time the panic, I felt the panic. And I remember where I was in Australia and I was like, I'm just going to buy more. And I bought more. That was the best decision of my life. That day, you guys know what I'm talking about. The day, if you were there, you might know. Oh, no, actually, we're all alive. Obviously, you were there. But when Bitcoin crashed from 9K to 3K or 8K or whatever it was to 3K, right? I was like, well, I've committed and I bought more. Best trade ever. And then it was like maybe 6 months later, I was walking in London and I remember I sat down. I looked at my Binance account and I still had some money. And I think it was the ICX money. I can't be sure. I don't want to like make up, but it probably was the ICX money because that's where it would have been sitting. I had a little bit more money. I loaded up from my bank and I bought Cardano because I looked at it and I thought, because like me and my friends bought Cardano the day it was live on Binance. It was 400 sats and we bought it. I remember looking at it in the bear market, 2021-ish. Can't remember exactly the date. And I was like, I'm just going to buy more because this is what I should do, right? I should be buying more now. So I bought a decent chunk for what was back then. And Cardano was, I think that's the best trade I've ever done. Let's just zoom out here because it would have been back here, right? Yeah, so it would have been around here. And then that was just obscene, right? I didn't have to do anything. I just bought it and I held it up to here. Look at that, 10,000. Sorry, I'm not even showing you it. 10,000% gain, guys. So that was like incredible, right? And I did sell. I didn't sell the very top. I was selling all around this region. I was selling in chunks. And that taught me, okay, when you get a really good buy, always take profits. Always. I've been discussing this with a friend recently. He did a really good buy on Solana recently. And what I've said to him is just slowly go out. We're in euphoria. Yes, we can go 5x from here, 3x from here. It doesn't matter. Just slowly get some money out. Make sure you realize those gains. Take that money, put it into another asset. Buy a property if you have enough. Buy some gold if you have enough. But don't put it into cash. You don't want to hold cash. But get into another asset. Forget about it. Go back. Do the trade again. All right, that's my goal. And it's a good thing to think about as well. Like with meme coins, if you do manage to pull off a 10x, 100x, right, it's probably not going to happen again right away. So don't parlay that money right into another trade because that's how people get wrecked. If you put $100 into a trade and you did 100x, you made $10,000, right? Brilliant. Don't take $10,000 and put it into the next trade. Take $100 and put it into the next trade and try and do the same thing over and over again. Because once you start to learn how liquidity works, you start to realize that the people who show screenshots that are like, I just made $39 million overnight with some random coin, didn't, because there isn't enough liquidity to sell it. So that's nonsense. There is actually a limit to how much you can make from these, apart from if you buy the next Pepe, Brett, Doge. Do you know what I mean? If that happens, then great. But even if that happened, I would have been taking profits. I'm yapping. I'm absolutely yapping, but I'm enjoying it. So if you guys do also appreciate, we've got 300 people watching. We've been on for 38 minutes. Let's get this to 200 likes. Guzzfeed, I am not a financial advisor, nor am I your financial advisor. 2017, Ethereum was cheaper. Yes, it was significantly cheaper. Please do these lives more often. More than happy to. I was able to get like 35 ETH while I was down. Well done. Well done. That is a significant position. Congratulations. Could you talk about taxes and how you get around it? Yes, move to a jurisdiction that has very favorable taxes. But if you want to get around it, you can't. You have to pay your taxes. Make sure you pay the tax man. But I can't tell you any specific advice. Don't know where you are, and it's going to be different in every place. Is it exploding? Yes, I would say so. If XRP has been used all over, will it still pull back? Like, I think so. Now, I might... So the argument, is XRP still going to have pullbacks once it's used by central banks and it goes parabolic? Yes. I don't see why it wouldn't. I don't see why it wouldn't fluctuate in price. But I'm also not a believer of the $10,000 a coin thing, right? I think it can go higher, but I don't think that's going to happen. What camera am I using? Canon EOS. I think it's just a Canon EOS. How does my bought meme coin on Suie perform? You mean Lo-Fi? It's actually been doing really well recently, and I'm glad I didn't sell it all. In fact, I did buy some more it's not Lo-Fi. I did actually buy more of it when the market crashed, so very happy. Go check it out. It's doing extremely well. My thoughts on Brett are, it is one of the main meme coins, so it's probably going to do well if all the other meme coins do well. It's like, no one knows, right? They're all wild. It just depends. What resonates with the audience? It's, if you want lower risk, but a lot of reward, going for the higher cap memes does seem to do well. But no one can know exactly which ones are going to go crazy. Around Town 27, yes, this is a new channel. I'm focusing on XRP right now. Because I think that it's important while there's a lot of money that can potentially be made. Guys, if you haven't signed up already and you want to get some XRP bonuses, it's one of these, there we go. You can get some XRP bonuses from signing up to Blowfin. You can trade XRP on the spot market, on the leverage market, on any of these markets. If you want to support the channel and all of that, you can sign up using the links down there in the description. And you can get these bonuses. And Blowfin is great because you don't need to provide your personal details. So it's a bit annoying having to provide your personal details, in my opinion. Put your questions in, guys. I'm going to probably jump off soon. I'm getting a little bit tired. So smash your questions in there. If you got any, I will answer them before I leave. Sorry, I'm just checking one thing. I'll be back in a second. And subscribe, guys. Make sure you subscribe so you can be alerted when I next make a video. I don't know the best way, Imran, to withdraw crypto gains into real cash because I don't know where you are. So you can, in some countries, just connect your exchange to your bank account and you can just whoop straight over. Ricky Smith, your thumbnails are wild. Yes, they are wild. And if anyone's interested, I can explain to you right now while we're live why YouTubers use these thumbnails, these crazy titles, all of that. If you're interested, you can let me know. I won't bore you with that nonsense. James C, no OF, I'm afraid. Where do you think XRP is going this year? I think this bull market around $10 is possible, $10 or $12. That's my... Jesse, I don't incorporate the multiplier effect because I actually don't know exactly what you're talking about. I sold all of my positions at almost the current tops. What do you think would be great entries? I don't really do that. I don't sell everything. So I don't really try. The thing is with trying to time the exact top and the exact bottom, you get caught up in It's too hard, right? We don't know where the tops are or the bottoms are. So what I do is I take a bit out when the market's euphoric. Right now, the market is euphoric. We're not peak euphoria, so I'm not really that stressed about taking. But here you felt it, right? You can go to the greed and fear index, which for some reason I don't have up. You can also look here. Look, let's go to the search trends. Right here. Like, we know. Look at this, ticking up now. So when we start to see this go absolutely parabolic, it's a great time to be taking a little bit of profits off the table. When you see this go back to a bear market and then go down and everyone's saying XRP is going to zero, Bitcoin's going to zero, great time to be dollar cost averaging. Or in mass panic situations like this, big pushes to the downside, right? So if we're at a high and we go down 30%, could be a great opportunity, right? So go and look at the history of the coin that you want to look at, Bitcoin, XRP, whatever it is, and look what happens when it has certain pullbacks, right? Like the chances of it bouncing back after a significant pullback in a bull market, right? This is the first big push to the upside. We got a 31% pullback. Let me get that out of the way. Let's check this one. That was 20%. This one right here was 18%. So 20%, right? So when XRP does a 20% pullback, boom, we got a big push. This one, we did 20%. Then we went, no, that was actually 20%. So great opportunity. This one, 20%, right? Put us there. So then we're like, okay, if it drops more, I'll just buy more. And then from there, it went down another 10%. So I bought a little bit more. I'm not saying I did, but this is like a potential strategy, right? And then it rallied. So then we go here. Okay, now we've rallied. It's down 20% from the high. I'm going to dollar cost average. Okay, we haven't bounced. I'll wait, maybe 10% more down. Okay, cool. I'll dollar cost average there. Are we going to go down? Yeah, sure. We're going to go down more, 10%. And that's how you can do it, right? And then you get the fruits of the labor because you dollar cost averaging all the way down to the bottom. And then by the time you're here, you're already in profits. So that's the sort of thing that I do. I don't really pay attention to the exact prices of things. Oh, the camera. The exact prices of things or exact price predictions because it doesn't make sense in my strategy. Thoughts on where Suie will get? I actually don't know, right? Again, what can we do? Let's compare it to the history. Solana, last bull run, it reached market cap 70 billion. So that's a reasonable price expectation, right? Suie's on the top 11, market cap all are high, 14 billion. So Solana in the last bull run is the potential for where Suie might go. That's how I would do it. Great entries last week. Completely agree. Connor, I'm using your low leverage strategy. It's printing since I caught Bitcoin at 75K. How do you take profit? Do you use fib? And how do you decide the percentage I take out? I don't use many indicators at all, guys. And I know that sounds kind of wild, but I'm a longer term investor and I swing trade those long-term investments using low leverage. So for example, Bitcoin, right? I don't know if it says it on the chart where we took the profits. I don't think it does. No. So we entered, look at that. What an entry. Like amazing. Bought it right when everyone was panicked. I did, however, have another trade that I closed, right? Or it hit stop loss. So it's not perfect every time. We did lose a little bit of money on the way down, but we've by far made that back now. So I've closed out. I bought one Bitcoin right there. And then I closed out 0.4 of that. I think it was like 0.2 and then 0.2. And it just really depends on what the market's doing and how euphoric it feels. So I had a plan, right? If I'm going to buy here just before it gets to 100K in case we get rejected, I'm going to take some profits out. And that's what I did. 99,800 was where I took some profits out. And I took 0.2 twice, between, I think it was like 97 and 99. Don't know for sure. But that's how I just take it out. And I took 0.2, and it's actually a lot of the time it's based on the amount of profit that I have. I take profit out. So I know that seems weird, like you should use more strategy, but the strategy or the more technical indicators and all of that, I just find that it makes you do what everyone else is doing, right? Everyone's using those indicators. Everyone's using all of those things, right? So it's kind of, I don't know, kind of redundant in some ways. I do think it works in a lot of ways to figure out where the price might go, but to get involved in trades and to take profit, I just do it in time, right? When the market's euphoric, which it is right now, it's a great time to take a little bit of profits off the table. Maybe it's 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. And then we just wait. If it continues to rise, 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, that sort of thing, right? I hope that makes sense. Will Bitcoin pull back as much as, will XRP pull back as much as Bitcoin in the coming days? Yeah, potentially. If Bitcoin pulls back, yes, XRP will pull back in my opinion. ETH pumping again? Yeah. All right, guys. I've appreciated every one of you. There is one thing though, if you've just joined, right? I spoke about this at the start. If you want to see what I'm doing before I make these videos, I have the Crypto Strategy School. I think right now, while the market is euphoric, it's a great time to create a strategy, right? It's a great time to figure out what it is that you want to do, what it is you want to buy, how you want to behave. And a great way to do that is to be around like-minded people. We have 4 full-time coaches in here. You can request TA. You can see the pro traders we have in here who are trading every single day. We have community traders who are posting their trades, what they're doing, what they're looking at. We have the trades chat where you can talk to people about what you think. And in moments like this, when the market is good, it's great to create a strategy. In moments where the market is bad, it's great to have people to talk to say, are you guys scared? Like, where are you buying? And all of that sort of stuff. I think it's really good place to have. And, you know, having these sorts of chats really helps me. So I think it will really help you guys. The links for this are down there in the description. You can access it through my Patreon right now. We're setting up a whole new front end for it, but it's going to be a whole school, right? We're going to have different courses and all of this sort of stuff. It's all being built out right now. And it's a really good opportunity, in my opinion. I think it's the best school to be in because we have these 4 full-time coaches. We have 3 influencers who also make videos who you can get insights into. I bring Tyler on the hill. I bring Tyler on the hill. I bring Tyler onto the channel a lot. And he has some great insights that you guys can see. And you get all of this access in one community. So if you do want to come and join, the links for that are in the description, guys. I'll quickly check the chat. Whereabouts in England am I from? I'm sure you can tell by my accent. I'll let you figure it out. And with that said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Leave me a little like and a comment when this goes live. I'll really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.